Hi, and welcome to Learn with Sawgrass, the Tuesday edition. I'm Rhonda, the Education Manager here at Sawgrass, and we're here with you every Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. and every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. to tell you all the things Sawgrass. We're going to cover the printers, the inks. We're going to talk about our software. We're going to give you, I hope, some great inspiration for projects and for product ads for your business. And we're going to talk about running a business too and give you some tips there. So we are going to cover all of that every week in our workshops. And today is, well, actually this whole month, somehow or another, I scheduled lots of inspiration, which is never a bad thing, and it's always a lot of fun. So today we're going to cover what I think is, I think I say this a lot, but the bread and butter of personalization, and that is going to be ornaments. We're going to talk all about Christmas ornaments today. Tomorrow, come on back. We are going to talk about gifts for your heroes, both civil servants and then those people in your life, whether it's teachers, private teachers, whether it's coaches and dog walkers, mail people, hairdressers, all of those people. So we're going to talk about some gifts that hopefully you'll enjoy for them tomorrow. But today, like I said, it's all about ornaments. Now, you may be joining us live or you may be joining us later on the recording. This is live on YouTube, but then you will find it in the Learn with Sawgrass folder afterwards. So please come back and check them out. If you don't, welcome, whether you're here live or whether you're watching it later. Now, Rhodes is with me. He is in the chat. So if you do have any questions, if you do have any comments, if I miss anything ornamenty, please let me know. But this is like one of my favorite things. And so I have traditionally, actually this dates back before I ever had heard the word sublimation. I typically make ornaments to use as the name tags on gifts. So back in the day, that used to be something with chalkboard paint and then a paint marker on it. I've done the wood rounds that are such a huge staple of VersaFlex. I used to paint snowmen and Santa hats on those. One year I did like chalkboard tags with the names on them. I've done all kind of things. And then I started working at Sawgrass and started doing sublimation. And now we're using name tags that become ornaments that are metal, that are unisubs. So they're that hard plastic. I think I've done acrylic in the past too. So we've done all of those. Now this year they will be VersaFlex. I'm really, really excited. I have a great idea I'm going to show you today that to me is a game changer. But I did one last week as well that I will probably be using. So we'll talk all about that. But here is the beauty. So just to remind you of the difference, sublimation is a process where your product is coated in poly. There's a poly coating on the product. When sublimation ink is heated, it becomes a gas. And because the pores in poly open under heat, the ink under pressure so that it goes in a straight line, travels and is captured in those pores and now becomes an actual part of the coating. So with sublimation, it is becoming a part of the coating. And when we talk about these ornaments, that is exactly what's happening. This is an acrylic one. The poly coating, well, this actually, I think, is a unisub, but it's actually becoming a part of it. Same thing here. This is metal. Same thing. It's becoming an actual part of the coating with sublimation. Now, what the VersaFlex ink and the VersaFlex decorating system allows us to do is now you can do both your sublimation when you have sublimation transfer paper in the printer. And then by changing the paper out to the VersaFlex Light, now you can go on to all those things that have traditionally been off limits with sublimation. So that means wood that is not poly coated. That means pretty much any fabric that can uphold the heat. This is actually satin, and this is the one I was talking about earlier, something that I will probably be doing this holiday season. This is just satin ribbon done in loops. I did this in the workshop last week if you want to check it out. And it's just basically four loops that I did, and I did a name on there, but I also did a really cool pattern on some of them. And so you have both going on, and it is just a great way to add personalization to a package and then have this piece. So I would do the box, wrap the box, put ribbon with the name around it, and then put this on top, tuck this underneath, and then after the fact, when they pull it off, they can unleash this. This is the hook to go on your tree. And so you're getting a great ornament with it also being a great personalized name tag as well. And I do absolutely love this. It's so easy to do, very simple, just hand sewn to get all that together, and then add that little button. I probably will add a bigger button when I actually make these for Christmas gifts. But just another thing you can do with the VersaFlex. Okay, let's go back and review something that I think is very important. And, you know, here's kind of where the sweet spot of both sublimation and using the VersaFlex decorating system lies, and that's in personalization. The big issue is that when you are normally getting stuff, you're having to purchase it. You're having to purchase it in large runs. And then because you're having to do large runs, you really have to have it very commercially acceptable to a whole lot of people. So you're doing runs of 100, 500, and you're having to have it all be the same. Because the Sawgrass printer is a desktop printer that anyone can have in any house. This is our smaller model, our SG500. I do have an option tray on here, so I can have 2 types of paper. But this is a very small printer. Without that, you see it's an extremely small footprint. There's the SG1000 that does go wider. This goes to 8.5 by 11 normally. You can extend the tray to go up to 8.5 by 14. With that SG1000, you can go up to 11 by 17 out of that main tray. You can still do the 8.5 by 11 as well. But you see with either, it's really small, it's a small footprint. You don't have to do large quantities of anything. So you can do runs of 1 or 2 or 4. And so therefore it does really open up that personalization and what you can do. So here's where I like to kind of walk through what personalization is, because I think sometimes we kind of pigeonhole ourselves here. So let's talk about personalization. And I've been going over this a little bit lately, so a little bit of a repeat. One way you personalize is with colors. So whether it's the colors that are associated with a town or the colors that are associated with a school, you can do those, or even a team. You can use those colors. You also can personalize with phrases or things that are going to be tied to local area, or things that are popular. I, of course, live in Charleston. If it's got the word y'all on it, we're all gonna like it. So y'all is something that we use quite a bit, and that's a way you can personalize. Another way you can personalize is going to be with initials. Now, this is the easiest way to personalize. If you are selling in a store, you just have to have these. You can already have them pre-made with initials on them, whether it's an initial for a last name or whether it's an initial for a first name. I've said that the most popular first name initials are J, A, and M. So you have plenty of those, and then can sparingly have the others or can print them on demand. Now, the other thing, of course, is names. So first names, this is really for me, the Rhondas, the Rhodes of the world that we can never find anything with our name on it. personalization allows us to be able to have an avenue to get that done. But you also have things with last names that are extremely popular. This is another way to personalize, is putting last names and then also putting dates. So this engagement ornament would be really cool. It's got their names on it. It's got the date of their engagement. It's really, really neat. Okay. All right. Now, of course, the other way to personalize we're going to do today, and that's going to be using photos. Photos are the ultimate personalization because they are so unique to the person. Hopefully you got to see a few weeks ago, I actually used family recipes and made a cutting board. Very, very personal touch. I've actually sworn off any gift with personalization like that this Christmas because we're not going to deal with it. We're going to wait till next year. But I did make that promise that no one's getting mom's recipes this year for Christmas. But it is kind of cool to have those. It's very easy to do. You can solicit those, collect those in email, and then print and press. All right, so we do have 2 projects. We're going to, wait, let me make sure. The only other one that we didn't talk about is these. I didn't mention them, but just to show them. Yeah, no, it's perfect. These are the wood rounds. You can go a lot of ways with this. It's a great rustic touch. This not being the most rustic message on one, but you can do so much with this. You see my tractor, but there are lots of things that you can do with these wood rounds. With the VersaFlex Light, this is probably one of my favorite products. We're going to go the other way with the wood today, and we're actually going to do an MDF. So this is just a thin plywood board, and we're not going to fill this. I've seen this particular style on these, and I really love the way it looks. So we are going to do that with this, and that's going to be our first project today. Rhodes, any comments or questions before we jump any further?
Not so far, just a lot of hellos from people.
All right. This is the acrylic. We talked about it before. I love an acrylic ornament because it does have that 3D look. Like glass, it does get pressed on the back and then viewed from the front. So it does give it a little dimension. This design is actually in our design tool. It's one I really love, just a really cool, and again, the other thing you can do with ornaments, and Lindsay would kill me if I didn't say this, is these actually make really great name tags for placemats too. So these work really good for place settings, for name tents that if you have a little more organized event where people have an assigned seat, these are a really great way to do that as well. And then it becomes a keepsake because they can take home something with their name. And again, people like myself, and I don't think you can see it, Clarissa, we don't always find our names when we go to stores. So it's kind of nice to have that available. All right. We're going to go ahead and jump into our design tool. I'm already there. We're going to my Sawgrass. Now, have you switched the camera yet? No, not yet. Yeah, back to me for a second. I'm going to measure this circle. I'm going to say it's about 2.5 by 2.5. So if I stay within about 2 inches, I'm going to be safe on this. So I'm going to go about 2 inches on this one. Now in our design tool, you can go either way. There are ornaments, but in this case, because I know this is a special one, I'm just going to open up a custom canvas and I'm going to do a 2-inch circle. And I am going to do a circle just to make my life a little easier. All right. We're going to go ahead and start designing. And there is a design in here that works perfect for this. I'm going to go ahead and go into my filter and choose Christmas. And there was the perfect design for what I wanted to do. I feel like I've already gone too far. Hold on. Here we are. Now you are seeing we're not doing ornaments tomorrow when we talk about gifts for heroes, but you see there's some great designs built right into here to use for that. This is a design that has a diamond. That does mean it is part of the My Sawgrass Plus membership, so you would have to have that membership. So I'm going to make this for a couple that just got married. Now I could, with this, do a background color. I don't want to fill the whole area. I do like the wood look on this, so I'm just going to do the text. I'm going to find that text and go ahead and change that. All right. I'm going to click on these X's. Perfect. Now I'm going to have to move this to make this work with that heart. And I'm going to add an extra space to space that out. We could, of course, also, if it were easier, take this and just do the 2 and the 25 separate. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to make the heart a little bit bigger to fit that space, and I don't feel like it has to be exactly the same size. So I think that's perfect. So let's go ahead and hit print and print that out. Now this is, again, VersaFlex. This is just something that I picked up in a giant set several months ago on Amazon. So just some really nice little plywood ornament. Sorry for the cough. Rhodes did tell me I needed my tea and I didn't drink it. All right. We can go ahead and get that sent over to the Sawgrass print utility. But again, so many different things you can do with ornaments. If you've done, oh, I did forget, there is one more type of ornament. I didn't do any today, but there are the ceramic ornaments as well. A great another type of ornaments that you can do with traditional sublimation. And I did in a recent class do an unglazed ceramic with the VersaFlex. All right. Oh my gosh. Y'all didn't tell me my size changed when I made it a circle. All right, so I'm gonna go back. And so just to let you know what I just did. This opened up in the Sawgrass print utility. That is way too big on an 8.5 by 11. So I know the size is wrong and I know why. So I'll go ahead and close that. I'm gonna go back over, go back to my custom canvas and change that size again. It changed when I went from the square to the circle, and I forgot it does that. That still looks really good though. So I'm going to print. Now, could I have resized that in the Sawgrass print utility? Yes, I could, but I don't want to do that because it affects the resolution of the image. Not in a bad way in this case, since I'm making it smaller instead of larger, but just out of good practice, it's better to reopen it in the program and fix it there. And then that way, if I go back later and save this, it's saved at the correct size. All right. Now this is going to look, see, much smaller on my 8.5 by 11 page. I'm going to make sure I have my right printer chosen. In my defense, I did try to clean my printers up earlier. So there's that. It is set to cotton, so we're going to change that to uncoated wood. I'm going to make sure it says letter, and it does. Yep, my size is correct. Everything looks good. It's going to come out of tray 1, so we're ready to go. Now, I've already set my press. It is at, well, 365, which is the equivalent of the 375. We do that to kind of compensate. We know it runs a little warm. So that is the 365 to make it the 375. It is set for 30 seconds, so everything's good. I have already set the press for the size of my wood. I'm going to quickly cut off some of this extra. Now, the reason I do this is it just makes it a little easier to handle. Now, with the VersaFlex, we do want this to go on wet. It does have that expander on there that is going to make it be able to be that self-weeding and go on here. So it does need to be wet, but it doesn't have to be immediate. I have about 12 minutes, so I can talk a little bit as I go and it not be a problem. Now, like I said, I do cut that. It just makes it a little easier. Now, what I typically do with this is I'm going to put my paper down, put my ornament on top of it so that I can center it up nicely, and then I will flip it over. A lot of people are worried about this, and just so you see what I'm doing, I'm just positioning it on top, getting it nice and centered and exactly where I want it, and then I'm going to settle that down. And I may have smeared that because I did knock it, but we'll do it again if we have to. All right, so that is there. Put this on here and close it. Now, this is a medium pressure, kind of on the lower side of medium. I am going to go ahead and get a glove on. It does go for 30 seconds, so it's relatively quick. So I'm going to be nice and prepared for this. I do put blowout paper on top just to protect the press, to help it from getting anything on there that would be hard to clean off. All right. Look at that, I did not smear it. It is perfect. All right. Check this out.
Oh, it's perfect.
Isn't it perfect? It's great. And I love this. It's just so simple on there. I could have gone a little bigger if I'd wanted to, but it's perfectly centered. Everything looks great. It's going to be awesome for their first tree together as a married couple, so I'm really excited. All right. Okay, let's talk about this next project. So this is one that normally I get a lot of my inspiration off Pinterest, or I will find a product and then I'll go into our system and kind of look through our files to see. This one just kind of came to me. So this isn't one that's really based anywhere other than Rhonda's head. So just to let you know what I have here, I bought a thing of fabric from a craft store. So this is just a simple 18 by 21 piece of fabric. I also purchased this ribbon, which is 1 inch wide. And it has a rough edge, which kills me because I end up with string. But this is a rough, and it is a cotton ribbon. So this is cotton ribbon. This is cotton fabric. And then this is a small embroidery hoop. The dimensions from middle to middle are 3.75. So about well, actually, no, I said that wrong. It's 3 1/4. So it's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to make my design 3.75 by 3.75, and then my fabric, which I've already cut, is 4 inches. So I've already cut, I have already pre-pressed this piece of fabric. It is for a 4-inch square. And then this is the 1-inch ribbon, again about 4 inches long is what I did with this. All right, so that's it. That's the components. I will tell you, you're going to see it at the end. When I do these, and I will be doing these, I would add a red ribbon at the top, a bow. I'd add a red bow. I'd probably add some sort of greenery too. Is going to be really, really perfect for this. So you're going to see it in just a second. But so excited about this project. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our design tool. Again, you don't really have to design in the design tool for this particular one, but it does make my life easier. So I'm going to go in. I'm just going to keep this a square, and I'm going to go that 3.75 by 3.75. Start designing. I'm going to upload a file. We're going to go ahead and upload my image. Now, I did go ahead and make this a square elsewhere. I can crop here. I could do the things I need to make this perfect, but I went ahead and did this elsewhere. So there's my family photo. Again, 3.25 is the area, and then I've done the pictures 3.75. So I have a good 1/2 inch on this that's going to be fine and not get into any of the faces. So this should work really well. I'm going to go ahead and hit print. Now, earlier, just so you know, I did do the word family. Again, 4 inches wide by 1. I did it on a custom canvas and just found a font that I liked. And I'll show you that on the other side. All right, so we're going to wait and let that open. We're going to give that just a minute to process. And that my Sawgrass for that artwork, like we used on this beautiful ornament, that is going to be $12.95 per month if you wanted to subscribe and get access to all of the designs that we upload into the program. All right. We're just going to wait for that to process.
Jerry and Lori both said that they loved your ornament, one you just did.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really great. I really love the look of this. I'm really excited. Can't wait to give that to Sabrina. All right. We're going to give that. Yep, there it goes. As always, just when I thought it wasn't going to go, it does. Any other questions or comments?
No, we're caught up with everything.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so let me show you what I did. Now, yes, these are both going onto cotton fabric. So there is my picture, all sized right, and that is a job ending in 7096. Over here is the word family. So I'm actually going to go up here and I am going to go to the very top. I'm going to choose that 7096 and I'm going to merge this into that tab. So what that means is these are going to print on the same piece of paper. It saves me a little trouble. They're on the same piece of paper, so it's going to make life easier. All right. Make life easier and save paper, which is a big thing. Okay. We're set. It's cotton, VersaFlex. Let me go ahead and reset my press for my fabric, and then we'll be ready to go. All right. think it's a full turn, but let's check it. Oh, not a full turn. And I did pre-press this earlier, so really I'm just trying to get it set. Yeah, there we go. All right, it's ready to go. Okay, and we'll go ahead and hit print. All right, we're going to print that out. Grab my scissors and my ribbon. Right. Make it a little bit bigger just to make it a little easier. And we're set. Now you notice that even though with traditional sublimation, I'd probably do these at the same time. I'm not going to do that because of the hot peel. It's better to do it as two separate presses. Go ahead and lay this down. All right, flip that over. And I am set. All right. I'm glad it's only 30 seconds and it goes fast. And again, this is just a little piece of white cotton fabric, just easy to pick up. I just got the little pack. Didn't need a lot for this. And I just cut it down. Like I said, I cut it to about 4 inches, and this is 3.75. All right, it is that hot peel, so I do want to go ahead and get that off. Okay, and there is some hesitation here on my part. I should have wore gloves. And it did stick because I did not wear gloves. So let me cut a new piece of fabric and start over. And I'm actually going to cut it a little bit bigger to make this easier, but I will go ahead and do the ribbon while I'm here. All right. So go ahead and get the ribbon done. And we'll do that, and then we will reprint this. And like I said, I'm going to cut a little bit bigger piece of fabric to make my life easier. It was just a little too tight, and I should have put on a glove. All righty. Oh my gosh, okay, that is perfect. Let me show you what that looks like. We're gonna cut some more fabric and go from there. There's my little family ribbon. All right. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to worry so much about this being perfect. I'm going to make it a little big, just to make it easier to peel off under the pressure of the camera. There we go. my ribbon. All right, we're gonna go ahead and press this, pre-press this while this prints. I'm gonna go up and take off the job that I don't need, which is the second one. Here we go. And hit print. And I'm gonna pre-press this. All right. It's not gonna hurt to have the extra fabric. That won't be a problem at all. So that's gonna work out just fine. So I did do that 10-second pre-press. This actually, because it is so much bigger, I'm just going to cut this and lay this down. It doesn't matter if it's not centered perfectly. You'll see why. Okay. I'm going to put a glove on this time just to make it a little bit easier. Hopefully, actually this one will work better. I'm getting this up and off. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. So let me show you the pieces and then I'll show you the end result. Okay. So this is the fabric when it is done. There's the picture. We are going to take my embroidery hoop. Again, this is about a 3-inch. I think there's actually one that's smaller, but this works perfect for this particular project. I'll wait till I can get this loose enough to snap this out. All right. So we're gonna center the family on there, on the hoop. All right. Okay, I think that feels right. We're gonna drop this down. Yep, perfect. Okay, we're gonna drop this on there. That is perfect. Oops, we're not gonna drop that down there yet. Missed a step. All right. We are going to pop that off. We're gonna center it up, which is perfect. All right. Put the ribbon across the bottom. And now I'm gonna snap this back down. Okay. Let me screw this on and then I'll show it to you. All right. I'll show you what I did wrong. We can fix it later. Okay, so I'm going to tighten that up a little bit more. I may actually work to center family. It went off to the side on me, but check that out. Now from here, like I said, I'm going to straighten up family. I'm going to move that over tighten it. You can be as simple as you put a hanger on this. You also could do a bow with maybe some little berries or something on there. I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you how you do this. But you just trim off the back and make it flat. And check that out. All right. I'm so excited. All right. So there's my family ornament. Like I said, I will show you how this looks. I don't want to trim anything off until I fix the ribbon. But look at that. Now these, very personal family touch. You could sell these way more than a regular ornament. These would go for quite a bit of money. I think if you were to add the flowers or bow and maybe some berries or something up top, this is easily the whole gift, is to have this precious family photo on an ornament. So I really love this one. I'm going to finish that up and I'll have it on the desk tomorrow, but I really love this. All right, Rhodes, any comments, any questions?
No, I think we're caught up. Yeah.
Awesome. So this is a good look at all the different ways you can personalize, whether it be something that is specific because of names and dates, whether it be names, whether it just be initials, or whether it be that precious family photo. There are so many different ways that you can personalize and make something so special like this. So hopefully I gave you some ideas for ornaments that you can sell, some ornaments that you can make for family and friends as well. And hopefully you have a good rest of your Tuesday. Again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about some of those special personalized gifts that you can make for the heroes in your own life. And that's it for the day. So thank you so much for joining us and have a good Tuesday. Bye-bye.